Hey, I'm Trump, and after having had a lot of time with the press release version of Civilization 6, I've compiled non-immediately obvious strategy tips which will no doubt help you with your long-term planning, with your tactics, with your strategy in the wonderful game of Civilization 6. In previous civilizations, you might have insisted on founding your city on the coast, because that's how you could build ships out of your city.
Hey,
In Civilization 6, as long as your city is within 3 hexes of any coast tile, you can build your harbor there, and that's where the boats are built from, the ships, the navy. So no need to restart if somehow you're not next to a coast and you're a little bit inland. As long as you're 3 spaces away from the coast, you're good to go. It's a good idea, especially in the early game,
listen.
but continuing into the mid and even late game, to switch out techs and civics in which you plan to complete the Eureka or Inspiration moment. Switch to another technology at about the halfway point and then complete the objective, and then the civic or technology will become complete. So here's an example of making sure that I don't waste any science. The archery is halfway done, and I can Eureka my way into the remaining half. So I'll wait for my slinger to kill a unit. Currency? Getting a trade route's pretty easy. At the beginning, there's not much I'm building towards. Just want to get a lot of it. Eureka! In Civilization 6, when you capture a settler, it becomes your settler. This is a very big tempo swing. Congo settler. Huh. Congo. Nice freebie settler. If you see an unprotected settler out there, it's often wise or worth it to go to an early war with a civilization in order to take their settler, because not only have you gotten a free settler unit, which is a very big tempo swing, it costs a lot of hammers and one population in order to get a settler. The settler is already out and walking, probably near where you'd want to settle something. Speaking of declaring war, if you declare war in the ancient era, there is no warmonger penalty for other civilizations. If you see opportunities to weaken a civilization early, such as by stealing a settler or even builders, it's good to take it. But furthermore, if you see a city-state that has very strong territory, declaring war on them in the ancient era, so you don't have to take the warmonger penalty by declaring war on them in later eras. I found that if you were in the ancient era but a computer or AI was in a further era, you would get the warmonger penalty even though you are in the ancient era, and it displays as no warmonger penalty happening. Any other civ in the ancient era will also not give you a warmonger penalty, but those who have advanced a little bit further will care. They think you're a warmonger? Now why would that be? Minus 47? It said warmonger penalty none! How was I supposed to know? You can't hate me if I have no warmonger penalty. It's often worth it to use a builder to clear out forest or rainforest or marsh before placing down your district. Reason being, if you use a builder to clear the feature of the land, you'll get some amount of production or food and production, and it's often a decent amount, whereas if you simply build the district over it, you will not get anything for removing the terrain on the land. Building in a triangle formation or even a diamond formation is quite strong. Districts are good to place in triangles or diamonds because districts usually gain +1 of whatever they produce when next to 2 districts. So if you build in a triangle formation, then the district will always be next to 2 other districts. If you build in a diamond formation, then one of the districts especially, and the capital or the main city center always counts as a district, a wildcard district of any type. Then you'll get possibly 2 extra district connections. This kind of district planning even works if you have 2 cities near each other and you build towards each other and then the districts connect.
Look.
And you can have a massive sprawl of districts, all of which benefit each other. With the civic feudalism, if you have 3 farms next to each other, they produce +1 food. And if you build them in a triangle formation, all of them get +1 food. And when you get the research of replaceable parts, whenever you have 2 farms next to each other, they both get +1 food. This can cause farms to produce a lot of food. Now, even though that is an impressive amount of food, I will say that I found that don't go too crazy with getting too much food, because production is very useful in this game and maybe better than food, especially if you are limited by housing. Watch that housing capacity. The city-state game is worth looking into. Every so often you gain envoys, which you can send to your choice of city-state. The civilization, which sends 3 envoys first, becomes the suzerain bonus, unless there's also a civilization with 3, in which case it is the civilization with the most envoys who becomes the suzerain of that city-state.
Hey.
There are 6 types of city-states: trade, religious, scientific, cultural, industrial, and militaristics. The bonus for the first envoy is always a flat bonus to your capital, and then the next 2 are for bonuses to every district of the appropriate type. Every city-state has a different suzerain bonus.
Look.
You should look into these because some of them will be very good for your particular goal. Geneva's, for example, is plus 15% science when you are not at war with any civilization, which is a significant bonus, and might be worth fighting over and sending multiple envoys into. Theological combat is a big concept in terms of religious victory and how faith works. Only apostles and inquisitors can initiate the theological combat. How it works is that your apostles and your inquisitors can attack other missionaries, apostles, or inquisitors. When a religious unit is defeated this way, all cities within 10 tiles of the defeated unit have a religious pressure drop of the defeated unit's religion equal to the strength of an apostle. That is a big difference. Alright, now you're about to see the big impact of theological combat. So when you attack someone, the effect of the theological combat is based off of the unit that dies. This is a 110 base strength unit. So when I kill this with my apostle, minus 250 strength there and plus 250 value there. I actually fought him so hard that he lost his religion there. Uh-oh, he's got a second one. So if you actually lose a battle, a religious battle,
Listen up.
and you're near your cities, you might actually find that some of your cities drop your religion completely and you'll no longer be able to build religious units out of that city, for example. Same if you actually defeat an enemy's religious unit near their area. You have to really watch your apostles, inquisitors, and missionaries as they are going out and traveling, because you don't have to be at war to engage in theological combat. They can just ambush you at any time. Theological combat is very micro and attention heavy. One of the cool things you can do with Spies is to steal another civilization's artwork.
Hey.
If you send your spy to an opponent's city, which has a cultural district, which has art in it, you can actually steal that opponent's art. If you're going for a cultural victory, this is very useful in getting yourself more culture and also reducing the opponent's culture gain, which is a win-win. And of course, if your spy gets caught, you can always pay the ransom to that civilization to get your spy back. Nuclear weapons in this game are truly awesome.
Look.
There's a very big commitment to developing nuclear weapons. First of all, you have to research the ability to build the nuclear weapons, you have to complete the project, you have to have military engineers, you have to have uranium, you have to build the nuclear devices. But once you have that all set up, your military engineer can set up a nuclear silo, and that nuclear silo can fire the same turn, which makes nukes very mobile. They aren't carried from place to place, you just have a stockpile of nukes, and as long as you have a nuke, you can fire from any nuclear silo, which you can immediately lay down with military engineer, or any nuclear submarine anywhere. It's pretty solid. Apparently, you can fire multiple out of one. It's a good way to end it. Alright, clear the way. Wait, I have a unit right there. Oops. That's okay. This is a nice and easy way to speed things along. Alright, time for the Napoleon tank to roll in. Nukes are incredibly destructive. The tile, as well as any tile adjacent to the tile you target, is completely destroyed. No units survive, and the city, if there, will go down to 0 hit points, which means you can nuke something and then immediately ride in and capture the city. No siege required. So those are some of the cool tips, tricks, strategies, tactics, long-term planning things that I found in Civilization 6. There are many more, but that's a quick primer. Enjoy conquering the world in one way or the other.